We got new expressions. Thank you again, KayKay, for more expressions. Uh, they're great, absolutely amazing. Please check her out. Let's start the video. I'm pretty sure it was a Thursday night. I just looked it up online. It was a Monday night. Sorry. I saw a promo for a show that looked really cool. It had an orange dinosaur and anime kid with spiky hair. I thought to myself, let me watch this show. So I watched it downstairs on the giant square TV, and there it was. The best show I'd ever watched as a child. Digimon. I absolutely loved this show. By the time I started watching it, the show was 13 years old, and it faded to obscurity by the time I got around to it, but I absolutely adored this show. Some of you may be wondering, this is just Pokemon, what's the difference? And to that I say, idiot! Digimon is far superior than stupid baby Pokemon. Pokemon's for babies, dumb babies. Digimon came out in the cool year 1999, the year with all the nostalgia and whatnot. I wasn't born yet, so there was no way for me to know about this show, but I'm glad I found the show when I did, as a kid who had nothing else better to do besides idolize anime characters. For the sake of simplicity, I'm going to refer to all the characters by their westernized American names, since they're the ones I'm familiar with, and I'm sure the four of you watching this probably don't even know what Digimon is, so it's like it even matters. This video is going to be a bit plot heavy, so try to keep up. Okay, so I need to start off with the original series in order for you to understand the movie. I haven't watched the show in years, so all the details that I'm telling you, straight off the dome. Digimon begins with 7 kids who are going to summer camp. Super weird things start to happen like snow in the middle of August when they're taking to summer camp. So the kids start to investigate the anomaly. They see a strange device which sends the 7 kids to the digital world. They all meet their new marketable plush partners.
Peter, don't turn me into marketable plushies.
And they try to figure out how to go back to their home. There's a bunch of evil Digimon who want to control the digital world, so the kids, now known as the Digidestined, I know, gross, get over it, try to save the home of their new friends. It's a pretty simple plot, and the aesthetic of the show is something you can't compare it to anything. Like, it's so visually appealing to look at. Now that the context is out of the way, we're going to talk about the Digimon movie. Originally in Japan, the first 3 movies were all 3 separate experiences, but with America being America, they mashed all 3 of those movies into one. I watched this movie a ton as a kid, but I remember finding it on my 3DS at my grandma's house. I didn't connect to the Wi-Fi at my own house, but I was connected at my grandma's, and I remember watching the movie and I fell in love instantly. But as a kid, I never really gauged how popular the show was. I just assumed it was this obscure Japanese show that was similar to Pokemon, but then I don't know. I just never looked up if there was a movie or not. The Digimon movie, the American one, starts off with Tai and his sister Kari seeing an egg hatch from their computer. They're toddlers at this point in the film, but they talk like they're adults, and that kind of bothered me when I was younger, but it later hatches into a black cat sort of thing, and it later digivolves. And before we go any further, we're going to get a lot of digi-themed things, so please bear with me. And I mean a lot. It's absurd. But it digivolves again into a pink thing that can talk. This is Koromon. He tells the kids that he's from the Digi world. The kids plan to keep the Digimon since neither of them know why he's there. Everything is going well until the kids sleep that night. Koromon digivolves again. I swear I lose a day of my life every time I say something Digi-related. We now meet Agumon. He destroys part of the apartment the kids live in and goes searching for something. Kari being a dumb kid, she climbs on Agumon's back as he jumps 20 stories from the building they live in, but wants to go home after he blows something up. What? And before we move on, we get this super crucial scene to show how localized this movie was. And it's truly something.
This one Digivolved. He expanded more than my Uncle Fred at Thanksgiving.
Ty goes out looking for his sister so he doesn't get in trouble with his mom. Seriously, that's the only reason I would ever look for my siblings if I had them. Ty's a real one. He's like me for real. As Agumon and Kari are painting the town red, Agumon blows something up, which makes Kari want to go home. Not after the 20-foot drop from the apartment that's destroyed. That makes sense. Later, another egg appears in the sky, and the localization didn't stop before.
I need to see the chicken that egg came out of.
It's another Digimon, not a chicken. The two Digimon end up fighting, and the fighting ends with Agumon being overpowered. Trying to save the kids, he ends up digivolving again into the mighty Greymon. And guess what? He got overpowered again! Tai decides to jump in and help out Greymon as he blows a whistle around Kari's neck. He wakes up and beats the shit out of the bird Digimon. While all this is happening, 6 other kids were watching this incident happen. This is how the kids became the Digidestined. How no adults or police or anyone else saw the giant egg come out the sky and destroy half the city is beyond me. Flash forward to the end of the Digimon series. The kids are enjoying their summer vacations in different ways, with time being home by itself. Izzy, one of the other Digidestined, noticed some sort of Digimon hatch online. He rushes over to Ty's house and explains the situation. Ty asks Izzy,
Hey Izzy, why don't we just call up the Digimon on the screen and then hit delete?
Don't you think I've tried that?
which actually boggles my mind. Like, what normal person wouldn't try to delete the thing first? Come on, man. Izzy and Ty are reunited with their Digimon and try to kill the virus Digimon from taking over the internet. They end up not being able to kill it right away since it digivolved much faster than the other two. With only 2 Digimon being defeated, they decided to get in contact with their other friends. Ty calls Sora, who ghosts him in the harshest way possible.
I'm sorry, Sora's not home, but I'll tell her to call Ty's house as soon as she gets back. Oh, hold on, she just walked in. I'll put her right on. Sora, I think Ty wants to speak to you.
I'm not home.
But I already told him you're here.
Then make something up. I don't care what you tell him.
But Sora, I'm sorry, but you have the wrong number. Goodbye.
Sora said she's not home.
Mimi, who's rich and is on vacation. Joe, who's taking summer classes. And Matt and TK, who are visiting their grandma's house. They were only able to get in contact with Matt and TK, but it was a hurdle to cross since the Digimon was messing with the phone lines too. Matt and TK join the fight, and they're able to overpower the evil Digimon. But this is where I lost my shit watching the movie. Ty's mom gives Izzy some sort of vegan shake, and it makes him need to shit himself immediately. Ty, being a Neanderthal, bangs on the PC and shuts down the whole thing. Why on earth would you do that to any piece of technology? Izzy, seeing this, tells Ty how much he screwed up. When they're able to log back into the internet, everyone's Digimon is done. Like, they're all done. So the Digimon was not just set on eating the internet, he wanted to do something more badass. Terrorism. He set off a missile to land in Ty's neighborhood. Like, even like as a kid, I was able to realize how dark this was, man. Like, say if they didn't make it in time, like say if they like didn't succeed, everybody be dead. Crazy to think about. With all this happening online, all the people across the world were able to see this happening. They were all sending emails to the Digimon hoping that they won. I imagine this whole thing was just like a Twitch stream and everybody was just sending like progress faces and donations and whatnot. This caused the Digimon to lag and left them open for attacks. At this point, they seem to be defeated, but then Ty and Matt go through the screens of their monitors to touch their Digimon, encouraging them to win. This ends up fusing the 2 Digimon, War Greymon and Metal Garurumon, and makes them into Omnimon. It's so cool. It's like, I can describe the moment as like the Gogeta movie, like the Fusion Reborn movie. It's just like, damn, that's cold, you know? It's crazy. This is the first and only time we'll see Omnimon in the series. He's really cold. He has a blaster on one hand and a sword on the other. Like, tell me this guy isn't cool. Come on. Izzy gets the genius plan to forward all the emails to the evil Digimon. That gives them enough time to kill them with 1 second left. 1 second. People could have actually died. Now, the last part of the movie is focused on the Digimon 02 squad. And it's not Digimon 02 because they're the second group of kids. It's because it takes place in 2002. The future is now. You guys gotta keep up. Come on. The new Digidestined is a combination of new ones and old ones. We first get Davis. He shares the same voice actor as Rock Lee, the best Naruto character, and that's not an opinion, that's a fact. Yo Lee, there's nothing too special about her, and Cody, who's like 4. There's Kari and TK, but we already knew them, a part of the 2000 squad. I don't really have to talk about the O2 series as much since it doesn't affect the story. I never really realized how scrambled the opening for this part of the movie was. Apparently scenes don't line up. Kari and TK are going to New York for some reason, while the other 4 are at a beach. I don't really know why, but Kari and TK were attacked by this giant Digimon named Kokomon. They were able to hold it off until a kid tells it to stop. This is Willis. He emailed Izzy in the second part of the movie and was the reason why the evil Digimon was created. Willis tells Kari and TK to go back to Colorado with him to stop Kokomon completely. So Davis, Cody, and Yoli head to Colorado to meet TK, Willis, and Kari. The film is kind of blurry for me after this point, so I'm just going to skip to the end. They defeat Kokomon, who is suffering from a virus because of Willis. They kill Kokomon and everything is fine and dandy. Digimon also don't really die, they just turn back into eggs. With this, the movie is basically over. Apparently this movie is terrible, according to people online. I watched a video about how awful this movie was and it hurt my adult heart because I knew this movie was amazing when I was a kid. But if you're able to find a full hour-and-a-half film in any sort of way, definitely watch it. And if this is your first exposure to Digimon, I can't guarantee you'll like the series, but it's definitely cool to look at and allows you to reminisce about the good old days. A simpler time in your life where you didn't have to worry about anything. That's it for today, but before you go, I have one more piece of advice. Girls don't like it when you throw up in their hats, especially after they put it on.